What's going on, you guys? It's me, AnarchYxNinja, and today we just joined this game late. And it is Heroes vs. Villains, because again we can't find any Galactic Assault matches, but it is Endor again. Different day, still Endor, because you can't get away from Endor. Anyway, we've got some questions. There's a lot of questions we missed in or not necessarily questions, but topics we missed in whoopsie, went up there. For the last Ahsoka episode. I even wrote some down this time, believe it or not. I took fucking notes. Well, I wrote questions down that people had, or like topics I wanted to talk about. One of the ones I saw, you know, the weird thing is he just killed me. I was actually reading when I was just spamming swing, so there you go. One of the comments I saw, not on any of our videos, but it was on Twitter. God, Twitter is a place of, how do I put it nicely? Smart people. But someone was saying that they were, how do I even begin to say, because to me it doesn't make any sense, but to him he was very confident this is the way it would be. Basically, sum it up, is he thought, oh, look at how big Thrawn's army is, it's going to be ready for the movie. He's basically, what he went on to imply was, or just straight up say, was that he thought this would be where we see Thrawn, and the next time we see Thrawn would be in the movie. Like, that's it. I'm like, dude, we haven't even done anything with Thrawn yet, and you think he's already ready to go into the movie? That's, I would imagine, would be the finale of Thrawn. But they're going to do a lot of stuff with shows before that. And he was already expecting, yeah, this army is more than capable. I go, realistically, as good as Thrawn is, that tiny little band of stormtroopers is not enough to really do much. Now, I didn't even think that was up for debate. I know he's going to expand his forces. And my bit of evidence for that is, at the end of Mandalorian, you see Pelion and them talking, and Hux. Both of them were siding with Thrawn. But I don't think he was back at the time of them saying that. He's probably just about to be back. We're about to sync up timeline-wise. So it's not just going to be Thrawn and his little stormtroopers or however many Star Destroyers that come back here. And maybe it's not just the Chimera. Maybe he'll have some other Star Destroyers, because a few got pulled away with them. So we don't know how many are alive, because I'm sure they were like parting them out, you know, like find the most damaged one, take the parts, and put them on the least damaged Star Destroyer, you know, to keep some airworthy. Because Thrawn's Star Destroyer was damaged. His not all his engines were even working. But anyway, we know basically. I mean, well, to me we know. Yeah, I mean, some people apparently don't. But Thrawn's gonna come back. He's gonna get up there, get in there with Pelion. He's gonna get in there with Hux. They're gonna be tight. So all those forces are now gonna be under Thrawn's command. He's gonna be getting a whole other empire. And that doesn't even go into the theories that all these stormtroopers are resurrected. And there's another theory that some of the stuff they were pulling out of the catacombs, they look like caskets. That could be bodies. Maybe they're going to resurrect some of the stormtroopers. Personally, I don't really want that, especially when we know he's going to go back to the galaxy and he'll have plenty of Imperial troops to pull from with Pelion and Hux and whatever other Imperial remnant wants to join up with him. So I don't see why we would need to have a resurrected army. I'm a little confused as how people have dove into that theory so much that it's all his stormtroopers are resurrected. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some resurrected. But I just don't really see why they would all be dead. He went through there in a Star Destroyer that is still airworthy. That would mean the crew on board did not die. Maybe some did, probably not all of them died. And then when he went in with a whole fleet, that's a lot of people. I think somebody said they had 40,000 crew members on each Star Destroyer. So just imagine, I don't remember how many went away with them. But that's 100,000 people to pull from. They're going to have detachments of stormtroopers. They're going to have ship people, everything. So I don't think all of them died. Now, maybe some of them died in wars we didn't see off screen, like Thrawn was fighting out there. Maybe the group that Balin's talking about, maybe he's been fighting off screen. I don't really get that vibe yet, but it's a possibility. But I don't really see where the whole army's resurrected thing. Personally, I don't want to see that. Maybe some of them. But in fairness to you, I can see why you're thinking it. There's a lot of, even in the show they said Night Sisters and Jedi always come back to life, and he's working with the Night Sisters. They just used Merrick. He was Night Sister magic. So I completely see where you're coming from. But realistically, I don't think they need it. Because somebody did say, again, not on our channel, because I think most of your, what do you want to call it, understanding of our views of the show and can keep up. Where some people on Twitter aren't really as keeping up type. Oh wait, hold on. We better pick a hero. Let's be Maul because he's a Night Sister and son of a Night Sister, whatever you want to call him. Like, they keep acting like, oh, well, he needs a resurrected army to be able to fight. I go, not necessarily. Again, the bit of evidence, he's going to go out there and link up with Pelion and Hux. And they already have a detachment. You see him on the High Council or whatever it was in the end of Mando Season 3 talking to Gideon. So those dudes have their own different sectors and troops under their command. And already you could see Pelion was like, when Thrawn comes back, that's his homie. Like, he's excited. You know damn well he's going to fall in line, and Hux most likely will, because that leads to the First Order. It only makes sense. So I don't think he needs a whole lot of resurrected soldiers. Maybe the ones with him might be, but he's not going to be leading an entire army of resurrected dudes like some Night King, which I really hope he doesn't do, because that doesn't really appeal to me. I've seen Game of Thrones. I don't need to see it here. Some of them might be, and I don't doubt it. And I get why there's plenty of reason why you could say it, even with all the red cloth tying their armor together. But again, my counter argument to that would be they don't have a lot of resources on the planet. The Night Sisters, so they're going to use what the Night Sisters have to fix up their armor and to fix up all that stuff with the gold and the cloth. So like I don't know. I don't think they're all resurrected. Personally, I don't want to see that, but again, even if they do, let's say we find out all these dudes are resurrected, all the stormtroopers are resurrected, we know eventually he's going to link up in the other galaxy, and he'll have plenty of not resurrected troops to command. And my hope is a lot more Star Destroyers, because I still hope they have more than just the Chimera, but I'm kind of getting the vibe it's probably just the Chimera that's left, Star Destroyer-wise, with Thrawn. But when he does come back to the galaxy, I would imagine he's going to get to hook up with some of the other ones. No one's even talking about it. Morgan has literally been buying parts from Imperial ships to make that ship, the Eye of Sion, so she could very easily get the parts or have already got the parts for Star Destroyers when they got back. Like, Thrawn's going to be hooked up nice, let's put it that way. What else? Not big enough yet. Yeah, I talked about his army not being big enough yet. It will be big soon. Why would Thrawn troops be dead? We did. We didn't even mention this, but how bad Sabine is. I'm not hating her as much as okay, I just teleported, but I'm alive. I'm not hating her as bad as everyone else on social media, but I will admit, Sabine is probably my least favorite main character from this show. I'm not really sold on it too much, aside from her nice outfit, you know. But in terms of character, she's just a little, I don't know, just a little off. But whether we like it or not, she's going to play a massively important role. They even talked about it here. Like, you sacrificed the whole galaxy, basically, just so you could find Ezra. Like, talk about spoiled. Like, you just, to save one person, you jeopardize an entire galaxy. A war. How many people die in wars? So many people are going to die because of that choice she made. Rightfully so. And we didn't even, this is the part we didn't even talk about. Ezra was so happy to see her, and did it work? Did my plan work? Yeah, it worked, but I also just fucked it all up by literally giving him the one way he could get back. Like, oh man, that's gonna be an interesting conversation next episode. At least I think it would be next episode. Who knows? But yeah, she's pretty yeah. She's all looks and no brain at the moment. At least we know she's a badass Mandalorian. But as of right now, you know. I'm just excited. I can't wait to see where Thrawn's stuff goes, man. I know he's going to get a badass army at some point. And God, I hope that dude that we kind of talked about earlier is not correct, that this is where they show Thrawn and the next thing is a movie where they defeat him. Like, dude, you are jumping the gun on some of this shit, dude. Why in the fuck would they bring Thrawn back and then just make one movie and that's the end? If anything, the only way you could even argue that would be, well, it's not going to be just one movie. They bring him back here in Ahsoka, and then they have like a trilogy to give him time. That would be the only way, and even then I don't want it. I want him to play out on like a TV show style. You get to do a little more with a little more time than you do with a trilogy, really. But yeah, I don't know. When you look on Twitter at some of the people there, man, some of their opinions are just I don't know. At least I hope he's wrong, man, because otherwise that would not be good. Anyway. Next topic. one of you brought it up, and I saw a lot of other people talking about it off screen, like on Twitter and even on some of the reaction channels I watched, is why didn't Thrawn kill Ezra already? They've been gone for a while. He basically knew the general area where he was. And there's a lot of, I don't want to call it negativity because it is a legitimate question. I have no problem with it. Some people are spinning it in more of a negative way, but everybody has their own style. But I don't think it's really that hard to explain. If anything, they already explained it in the episode. Thrawn's main goal is to get out of there alive. He does not really care about Ezra at this point. Is what we can see, Ezra's not really doing anything right now, like attacking Thrawn-wise. He's just like chilling over there with the little turtle crabs or whatever the fuck you want to call them, little hermit crab turtles, whatever you want to call them. So he's probably not being too much of a threat. Now maybe Thrawn has gone after them at some point, and that's why his numbers are dwindled. Maybe Thrawn or Ezra had taken some of them out, or the other group that is out there had taken some of them out. So his numbers are already dwindled. And again, he's an expert tactician. He's going to look at it, okay, well, I can send out my force to go after Ezra, but then I'm going to lose troops, which will then weaken me for my main goal, which is to make sure we don't get killed before we get to go back. So he's not going to want to sacrifice troops on a secondary mission. You would focus on the first mission, which is to get out of there alive. Especially when you have contact with people on the outside and know they're coming. You're not going to risk losing too many men, and then whether something happens or if there's another group of people, which I'm kind of thinking there might be. I don't know. We'll see. He'd just rather be on the defense and just buy his time. Keep enough troops where if anybody were to attack you, it'd be too costly, so they won't attack you. But if you keep going on the offensive and losing more and more troops, it just weakens you more and more, which means you might get wiped out. So it's better to not do that. I thought that was pretty obvious. But now, well, why did he go after him now? Because Ezra came back, or Sabine came back, and they're going to use her as bait. Like, oh, we can catch him off guard. But I still kind of think that's a mistake, though. Because, like, really right now, I'm looking at it like, you got Ezra, he's a Jedi, or pretty trained, he's a threat. Whether you like him or not, he's a threat. Sabine, at some point she probably will be, because, story, but... And then you got Baylan and Shin, the wild cards. And he even said it in this last episode himself when they found out that Ahsoka was alive. He was like, "Oh, she's a Jedi, and he used to be a Jedi. We have to." I forgot the exact words he said, but basically he's tarnished now. We have to look at him as a potential. What do you call it? Whoops, we went off the map. He's not an ally at this point, which is, I think Thrawn's correct. But now you have to worry. You have Ahsoka coming. You have Baylan and Shin, which are wild cards now and probably not siding with you, based off how Thrawn would be thinking. Not us, the viewer, but how Thrawn would be thinking. He's an expert tactician, and he breaks it down without emotions. So he's going to be, okay, these two guys, they said they killed Ahsoka, and now all of a sudden she's here. So I can't trust their take anymore. They're flawed. And they all happen to be Jedi, so he's going to be on high alert to not trust them. So then you have Ahsoka, you have Baylan, you have Shin, you have Ezra, and then a distant fifth would be Sabine. So you have 4 Jedi and 1 who is training and a Mandalorian fighter, all with the possibility of them uniting. Again, that doesn't mean that's what's going to happen in the show, but from Thrawn's perspective, that's what's going to be happening. And I think it's going to be, well, it'll be interesting to see how they shoot it, because to me that is a big threat right there. You get 4 Jedi together, or, highly capable Force users. I know Sabine's not, and Shin, is badass as she is, she's probably not full strength yet like Baylan or Ahsoka. But that's a sizable force you got to be with. And again, we have to factor in, is there another force out there that Baylan is looking for? So let's say there is another race of people out there that want to fight Thrawn. Now all of a sudden there's 4 and a quarter Jedi out there that could then team up with another group. So if I'm Thrawn, I am trying to get the fuck out of Dodge. But again, you gotta be careful, because Ezra knows how to use those whales. And I mean, heck, Ahsoka's coming here in a whale. If I'm Thrawn, I'm gonna be thinking about that. Like, okay, well, if I leave here, they could just get a whale and figure something out with the Force. So I could see why now he would want to engage them, because they're becoming a threat. And he might, I could just leave. I think it will be a mistake if they just have Thrawn leave. Like, they can't follow. To me, that would already show him not thinking too much like the Thrawn we all know and love. Because to me, I'm like, dude, if Ahsoka just came out here without some star map or something, what makes you think they can't go back the same way they came with some whales? So Thrawn would need to see that. You know. But we'll see what happens anyway. I think it's going to be really interesting because I think there's a lot of, we kind of talked about on the last video we made, there's a lot of different little plot points going on. What are the Night Sisters doing? What are in the caskets? What's Balin's plans? What's Shin going to do? How is Ezra and Sabine going to get along after she finds out she basically fucked everyone? I wish she fucked everyone. You know what I'm saying? But like, there's so much. Plus, you got the main story of going on. Like, there's so many different little things going on that weren't really happening in other Star Wars shows, which I like. It's more like Game of Thrones in that sense, where there's so many little things going on at once. You don't just focus on the main plot. You got all the other interesting side plots that are good. Where other stories didn't really have that. They had some, but they weren't really good. With this one, man, you got so many different things you're interested in. Side note, real quick before we end this. Why is Enoch so much shorter than all the other stormtroopers? And that made me wonder. He stood out. So I don't know. Anyway, I like him because he got a Roman cavalry mask. So that's all you need to know, man. How often do I think about Rome? Every fucking day, to be honest. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. We're gonna stream after I record this, I plan on streaming. But I don't know what I'm gonna stream. I kind of wanted to do Battlefront, but there's no Galactic Assault games at the time I'm gonna stream. So I don't know. It might just have to be Call of Duty or maybe Starfield. I don't really know what to do. But anyway, that'll be before you see this video. So I don't even know why I'm saying this in the video because it won't affect you at all. But anyway, let me know your guys' thoughts. What other questions we could talk about off this show. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.